Hello, it's your boy Phenomenon, and I just want to talk about Testament and the changes we got. Because I know some people will be curious, and I know some people will actually care about my opinion, funnily enough. Because I actually used to play this character from Season 2 all the way to Johnny Drop. This was my main, and I played them a lot, and I was really good at Testament. And even though I don't play them that much anymore, this is a character that's still near and dear to me, and I really care for what happens to them. And so we're going to be talking about their changes, and I'm actually pleased with most of them. I think Testament is the strongest that they have ever been, and it's not really due to the buffs, it's actually to the system changes. But the first thing that I want to talk about is this launching upwards like this is actually huge, because before this is the route to get. This is what we were able to do. Right now, if you do this, you can get 2H, which means better damage, better punishes. Oh. There we go. So from here you can go into Arbiter, you can do all sorts of shit, and because you're not comboing with 5k, you actually get higher damage. And it also means that punishes are generally a lot better with Testament now, because normally if you want to get a high damage from punish, you actually need them to be stained or to get a counter hit, because with a counter hit is when you can go into a really big routes like that. That's where the damage generally comes from. But now we actually get a lot better damage just from the most basic pickup. And that's actually nice. Another big change is to throw. We are actually a lot more plus on throw now, and I've seen people talk about, oh, you now get like this is something that you get now, which is a meaty through, and I don't like it. This is bad. They're also talking about safe jump like this, which has a lot of limitations. What I used to do before off of throw is I would manually time a safe jump. Now the timing is different, so I can't do it anymore because of the throw change. But you can manually time a safe jump like that. But you know, I think that's also thrown. It's something that we're not going to be doing anymore. And that's because actually with the throw change we now have this. This is due to throw change and Grave Reaper change. And this is really plus. And the reason we want to do this... The reason why we want to do this is one, we're really plus. So look how close I got before Kai was able to jump. So we get mix from here, we get pressure. And this is actively working towards our win condition, like this. And the other change that actually did something here was 2S change. 2S now has really low pushback, and this means even at max range it should combo into 5H. And this is also true for block strings, which is really nice. So that was the other bigger change, and this is probably the most important thing that changed. Other than that, this setup still works. We can still get safe jumps and 50-50 hits off of this. And it's all through box strings, so this is still in the game and it's doing great. And actually now we have something that I used to do back then, which is this into teleport. This was +2 before, +2, +3, which meant you could not be thrown because of the spacing, and they couldn't mash unless they were Nago, because they have infinite throw range. Nago can throw you, but otherwise they cannot mash, they cannot do anything. They're forced to take the 2k, and the reason why that was cool is because doing it instantly took you in front of them. Delaying it, you were no longer plus, but you ended up behind them, so you could mix them. Right now it's hard to actually control where you end up. It's pretty much random, but you're really plus. Like, you're at least +8 here. So you actually get to do this now, which is pretty sick. And there's an actual mix here between strike, between throw. That's awesome. So this is something that maybe you would want to look into. There are H-VSion. And they can't like throw you out of that, so this is actually sick. And the only change that I don't like that they've given is Arbiter Sign. Now goes full screen. And this is actually a nerf, believe it or not. And the reason why I think it's a nerf, first of all, you really don't need Arbiter to go all the way. Because you're rarely going to be playing from a position like this unless your opponent literally just goes full screen because they don't want to deal with your bullshit. Which is fine, in this case you just run up and do it anyway. Or that's what you used to do at least. Right now, so the main argument is, but it's full screen 50-50, and yes, it's full screen, yes, it's high wall, but Arbiter Sign is not a great high wall. Like, you can block this on reaction, it's not that bad. And even worse, you can actually puzz it if you have the timing, because the wall and the overhead don't hit at the same time, the overhead is slower, so you can actually fuzzy. So Arbiter Sign's purpose was never actually to mix. The thing that you want with Arbiter Sign is when your opponent is like this guy here, no? You want your opponent to be moving around, doing stuff, because if they're moving around, they're more likely to get hit by your bullshit as a Testament player. And how we use Arbiter is when you get a player that sits still and doesn't want to take risks, is when you start doing Arbiter to get them uncomfortable, to get them to move, so they get hit by your stuff. Now you can do this full screen, I guess, but like if they're full screen, I'm just doing this. If they're full screen, I'm just pushing my advantage, you know? Because if we're full screen, then I have chance to set up and run behind my fireball and be plus and be scary. So that's not a good use for Arbiter. You can use it in combos, I guess, but if you ask me, unless it kills, you're never going for Arbiter. You'll be always going for this. Because you want to hit them with Crow, that's your win condition. So why is it a nerf then? Because before, Arbiter wouldn't hit in front of them, it would hit slightly in front of them. Like it would hit around like right here. And the reason why this is important is because if we go full screen, if people try to run at you, they can run past the Arbiter Sign and kill you. And normally you would throw Arbiter Sign there to prevent them from going forward. Because what you want in the full screen situation is you want to set up this. And for this to be as effective as possible, they need to be on the other side of the screen. Because if they get hit here, then you're not building the space. Or rather, you're not taking the space. You want to take the space. You want to go in. And if instead they run forward and you end up over here, then you're still plus, you're still good, but you did not take all the space that you could, and that's kinda bad. So the use for Arbiter here is when it was in front of them, it would stop them from running the way that you just saw. And if you do it and you catch them and you do your full charge Grave Reaper, then congratulations, you're taking out space, you're doing great. And this was also really important in case Giovanna, because Giovanna has a really quick dash. And this dash actually makes it really easy for her to close the gap even from these further distances. And it was really nice for you to be able to do Arbiter and stop her from dashing, but that's no longer the case. The Arbiter will whiff completely. And you're going to find yourself struggling in some matchups where people will try to neutral skip from this sort of range, or they'll just try to run or get in and you won't be able to use Arbiter to stop them anymore, which is unfortunate. Instead you're going to be relying a lot more on just throwing a Grave Reaper as fast as you can. But these changes are not that major really. The only one that really impacts the way you play is the throw. Like this is really strong. This is actually really good. And the other change that is really nice is the focus change. Those are the biggest game changers. The Arbiter sign change just hurts you in some matchups, and that's all it does, but it's fine. We can get past it. The real deal, however, is Wild Assault. The thing that held back Testament in the previous season was Wild Assault. And the reason why is Testament has excellent neutral, Testament has excellent offense. The thing that stops them is their defense and primarily their lack of health, and now obviously Testament has decent defense. Like, we have 2k, like this button is absolutely insane, I don't need to talk about it. We also have the best backdash in the game, right there with Jacko and Happy Chaos and the other DLC characters, where this is 5-frame invo and really hard to see. But the problem is, when you're defending with Testament, the best you can do is 2k 2D. Which is good, but you're not threatening to kill them. And if they have resources, they can DP, they can burst, they can do a bunch of stuff. So you're not really winning when you guess correctly on defense. Whereas, because Testament is squishy... Oh my god. Because Testament is squishy, like, if you get counter hit pressing, like, you can just die, and what's a good combo with guy? Yeah, he has some convergence, whatever. The thing is, you know, you press a button, you're wrong, you die. Unless you burst. Then you are wrong again on defense and you die. And the reason why this was so important was because before, in this sort of... Well, I suck. In this sort of situation, they get Wild Assault, and then they run in and continue their offense, and because your defense is kinda bad, you're just forced to take it and you die. This is what happens. And this was the thing that held back Testament, is that you make a single mistake, you burst, you make another mistake, and the game becomes really hard to win because pressure is so suffocating and your defense is not the best. It's good, but it's not the best. And it doesn't help that their health bar basically doesn't exist. But now that that's changed, and wall breaks lead back to neutral, then I just do this, and I'm back in the game. And I can actually run my game plan and stuff. So Testament is the strongest they have ever been, solely because of Wild Assault. Solely because of Wild Assault and the buffs they got, but mainly Wild Assault. So yeah, that's my opinion on the character right now. I think they're in a really good place. I don't think they're exactly meta, as long as Happy Chaos and Ram are characters that exist in the game, and Negoryuki to an extent. Testament will not see much tournament play in my opinion, or at least they won't see much success. But until, other than that, like if you're going in tower and playing against random people, random characters, Testament is back in business. They're the strongest they're ever going to get at this point. So yeah, that's my opinion. Wish you luck in your endeavors and have fun. And in the meantime, I will continue to up Giovanna and find some fun things to do with her. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another one whenever that is.